1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. Welcome, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Zolian Podcast, where we talk about fantasy, family, and freedom. Today, it's about family and freedom. And that's because we're talking about something that's near and dear to my heart, which is the sensitivity nonsense, sensitivity readers that are out there pretty much acting as a gatekeeper for what comes out for the people who buy books. Now, listen, if you're a parent, this is probably not news to you. Those of you who are not parents, there are gatekeepers out there who are hired by these multinational corporations, big megacorps, who, let's be honest, it's the ESG thing all over again. It's not to protect the people. This stuff is done it's done under the guise of protecting people, right? It's a red herring. The MacGuffin is protecting the people. It's just like the think of the children, that whole think of the children argument before, right? We've talked about that in the past, where people always are about like the satanic panic for D&D, or Mortal Kombat is evil, and it'll make your kids worship Satan or something. And what was the other one? Grand Theft Auto, will make your kid into a criminal, or anyone who plays that game. All these arguments are the same argument. It's just the same type of argument. It's we are the protectors. We are the paladins. We are the people who are going to protect the masses, as if they don't have their own agency, as if they don't have their own choice. The thing for the children always boils down to parenting, which is today's theme. Good parenting, being an active parent. That's the whole point of you being a parent, is you wanted to actively be a part of this child's life, be a part of this child's upbringing. You are the gatekeeper for your child's upbringing. You are the architect of your child. Whatever that person becomes, you are responsible, right? That is kind of the whole point of why the child itself, whether you have a son or a daughter, that child's end result is going to be 100% on you as a parent, whether the school you chose was a bad school or a good school, or if you decided to homeschool, or if you decided to make your child only eat healthy things or unhealthy things. Whatever choices you make is going to be on you, and 100% on you, nothing else, right? At the end of the day, the state only has as much control as you allow them, right? That's the truth. They can't get in your home, without your consent. You are the one consenting, whether you know it or not. That's a whole other story. My point being, sensitivity readers from these megacorps, they don't care about you. I've always told you about that. This sensitivity reader stuff that we've talked about before in the past is just another way of, making more money from another company, another client, another customer, the government. Really, it's us. We're paying for the thing, but we're not the customer. We're more like held for ransom at this point. The government holds us for ransom, and then, with our taxpayer dollars, and then the ESG fund goes into people's pockets, and that's how this works. That's how all of this works. So you have Roald Dahl, who was the creator of Goosebumps. His republishings apparently were censored by the publishing press that he publishes under. Now, again, this goes back to the whole argument of, if it's problematic, which I've said before, if it's problematic, then just don't publish, period. You don't need to censor it. Just make those books rare by not publishing them, right? People can go seek them out. There's secondhand retail all over the world. You will find a place that will hold whatever book you're looking for. Now, is it a good price? That's a whole other debate. But if you really want it, you're probably going to get it. Or, I'm not going to advocate for anything, but there is the 7 C's out there, and I'm sure there's a copy of that book somewhere out there on the internet. It's a very wide open place. Now, let's go into the details of another article, because this one's not that big of a deal. This one's kind of a nothing burger, really. We want to get into the nitty gritty of the argument. So here we go. Here's a previous article talking about this from CABC News back in early March, where one of the people here is an editor, and she's promoting sensitivity readership. Let me see the argument she had right here. this British Columbian editor, her name was an author, Kimberly Vanderhorst, said that she was reading a unpublished manuscript, and she said that it's about an autistic girl who spent her time hating herself and being a burden to her family. Which, I'm gonna give leeway to the author who wrote that. It's probably the beginning of the story, because you know how good stories go. It's the beginning is a very rough start, or maybe on your side it's this way. On the beginning, it's a very rough start. Then you have to climax into something, character development. The person goes through an arc, and then finally at the end, the person, grows from that, right? So probably at the end of that story, I'm going to take a wild guess just based on however many books I've read in the past. And, I just finished a book today, actually. There's going to be some sort of outcome where the person has some sort of growth. Assuming this is not like a gigantic series, this is just a single book, I'm just guessing. Because I've read books before where the character has some sort of limitation and they feel guilty about that limitation, and then at the end of the story, based on the arc they had, they actually pushed past that limit, they pushed past that guilt, or they pushed past that hang up, and they were able to grow from that. That's the point of a story. I don't understand the argument of how this is a problem, but this is what she's saying. She says, I was like, whoa, I don't want my autistic daughter reading this book. Okay, that's fair. You're a parent. You will have every right to not let your child read a book. Fine. 100%, no big deal. Said Vanderhorst, who is herself autistic. This would be hard on me if I'd read it. Okay, that's fair. I probably would disagree if you, unless you're saying if you were a child, then that's different. But if you're an adult and you're having a hard time reading it, that's a little sus, but okay. And I had to tell the author and publisher that it's really harmful. This needs to change. Okay, stop. Let's go back. You see what I'm talking about? These are people who don't want to take accountability. This is all about accountability. You're an adult. You have every right to choose not to read something or to read something. You have every right to do that. That's your freedom. I support that. But what I cannot engage and support, I 100% cannot condone this, is you pushing this and putting this upon somebody else's problem, right? Making it someone else's problem and holding back their freedom from publishing something. Like, what's your problem? This is freedom of press. People have a right to publish something. Now, if the publisher decides for themselves, that's more of a gray area. If a publisher say, hey, we don't feel comfortable publishing this, go find another publisher. Okay, that's freedom of the marketplace. You have every right to go to another publisher who will publish your product, or maybe you self-publish it yourself, whatever. But to tell another publisher, hey, don't let this guy publish a book, that's not cool, bro. That's not cool. That's what I'm talking about, guys. This is all about crying in the dark, telling people what to do, telling people how to think, telling people how to live their lives. This is, a burden upon everybody. Okay, this is, invoking your own will on other people, and that's not okay. This is a world of adults. We have to behave like independent adults. Otherwise, this is just, totalitarianism. Like, this kind of thing is regressive. It's not progressive. There's nothing progressive about this, unless you're trying to talk about this new progressive thing, and then I guess that's what it is. It's disgusting. Let's be honest. It's childish. That's the best way I can say it without, without getting anybody into a tizzy. It's childish. It really is. Because at the end of the day, you don't see me telling you, you can't publish this, you can't publish that. I could care less. Or I couldn't care less, however you want to put it. My point is, people need to grow up. This is how old are you at this point? However many years has it been, you got to grow up, okay? Life is too short to be sitting there reading a book and being triggered by it and telling people not to publish it. That's childish. Anyways, but what do you think? Let me know what you guys think. I'm very interested in hearing your comments about this whole stuff, this whole censorship stuff, with the goosebumps and everything. Very interested to hear it. Let me know, and then I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.